Here I will show you how to use our powder brushes. We're going to go ahead and work with this ballet image. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and load our brushes up. So let's come up to Edit, Presets, and go to your Preset Manager. From here we're going to load our brushes. We're going to start with the Ashe powder brush. You'll see that there's also a powder CS5 and below. That's for older versions of Photoshop. Most of versions will work with the powder one. So let's go ahead and load up powder. And that will come in right here. What I like to do is drag this up so it is in the beginning of my brush toolbar. And let's go ahead and hit done. Now if we load our brushes, or if we, choose the brush tool and drop down the brush menu here, you'll see that the Ashe powder brushes are right here in front. One thing to note, here you will see the brush tip size. You'll also see the name of it. If you don't see the brush tip size, you're going to click on this gear icon here and just make sure that brush tip is selected. Okay? So you'll see the brush tip, you'll see the brush stroke, and you'll see the brush name. Alright, so let's head back here. What you can see in this is I have extracted this ballerina out of the background because what I want to do is I want to put the powder brush behind her. So I've gone ahead and done that. We do have other video tutorials that talk about extracting images in depth. So for the sake of doing this quickly, I've already gone ahead and done that. So what we want to do now is, in between these two layers, we want to insert our brush layers. Now I'm going to start with one layer here. We're going to go up and select one of the brush tools. Let's see, I believe powder 2 will work well. Now let's reduce the size of this so that it fits on our image. Make that just a bit bigger. And all I'm going to do is make sure that my foreground color is white, which it is. And then I'm just going to stamp it down once. And you'll see that you've got this nice sort of spray of powder. And that is completely on its own layer here. So if I were to go choose my move tool, I can now move this anywhere I'd like. So let's go ahead and sort of position it in here behind her, something like that. And then I think I'm going to add a little bit more powder up here. So what I want to do is I want to add another layer just above that brush layer. Let's go back and choose our brush tool. And I think this powder 11 will work nicely. Again, we're going to reduce that down, just sort of so it fits in this area. And stamp it down lightly once. And there's another bit of powder there. So let's go back and grab the move tool. And now we can grab this and we can put this anywhere we'd like it. So now what I like to do is we want to have some of this powder in front of her, like maybe on the front of her arms, you know, to make it more of a realistic composition. So let's come up here to our dancer cutout. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the mask layer. I'm going to right click and I want to apply that layer mask. So what that does is that gives me just the cutout of this dancer. Now I want to create another layer mask here so that I can paint out parts of her arm. So let's go ahead and put a new layer mask on there. Now we've got black as our foreground color, which will paint out her arms. I'm going to keep the same powder brush I was just using, and let's reduce it down just somewhat. And let's come in here a little, just so you can see better. And all you have to do is just, again, you're going to be in your mask layer, just stamp it down lightly. Let's try once. You can see how it brought a little bit on the front of her arm there. We can try a little bit more. And that's kind of nice because it actually, I'll put some right here, you know, in the front of her, like near her ear. But I like how it sort of put the powder in front of her arm. And then let's go over here and maybe just hit it once here, just to put a little in front of that arm. And there you go. You have sort of a nice, realistic image with the powder behind the image and masked out in front so that you get a nice sort of depth of field.